So the reason that we have any particular exercise exist is because we have an end understanding of the elements that come into play that make us have to enact this exercise or do this exercise. So again, if I'm doing that footwork and I'm just switching, if I don't have a physical body pressing on me as I'm transferring my feet really quick from one position to the next, switching out from, taking this to here or here, my movements here, even on this, I can't do that because in my understanding, having fought, having trained, it's this, it's that, it's a hooking move. There's a reason for doing it. And that is, as I'm in there, it can be sweeping, boom, hooking like that. So that type of movement, switching out so that now I'm working to the outside of their body. Again, hooking, sweeping, that sort of thing. All of these are incorporated. Now, if you did it like that, with the mentality, you're scooping and switching and so forth. Then, when you add this, now all of a sudden I'm in here, I'm switching out, and I'm stable. Or I want to switch because I need to drag you to a third point, and then take your base going out that way because I have to fight somebody coming in. That's a functional exercise. So yeah, so we've made it from a masturbating.
It's kind of a look how fast I can go.
Yeah, because you can get really fast at that, but guess what? You now in the visual field put a threat coming in. Guess what? They're going to forget all about that little feat because now they've introduced a psychological factor that affects the heart, that affects their ability to have an idea, why am I doing this? What is this threat coming in? But if we incorporate in this movement the reason, which is I understand through hearing, through scent, through sound, whatever else, through sight, the reason for moving, the reason for doing this, meaning your threat coming in. I start perceiving that. And again, we train the perception of movement and the understanding of that means action. Not just any action, not just this, but a functional action that meets the threat coming in at us. So it is no longer a in-place tilt-a-whirl type thing. We now understand this has a function. This is bind. This is bind. This is bind. This is switching. This is low. So I even get low because I'm going to work this to the effect of the mentality of everything's a headbutt, everything's a knife, right? So I'm coming in here like this. Now we incorporate our upper body in that. Now we're doing functional training that incorporates an upper body defense for the type of stuff that we're having to do. It's no longer a fallacy, which the other type of training was. When you're working it like that, and if you go low, like I was just doing, and you switch, now it's a whole different game. Now if you go forward, so you're doing that, and you're switching because I'm gonna scoop, and I can stay up high, but scoop, savate, or not savate, savate if I'm gonna do that, or sahu, like that. That movement inside to outside takes on its own rationality. The other one is non-rational. No reason for doing that.
Is there a way to train that solo?
Just like I did. You have to visualize.
Visualizing it?
You have to visualize an intent, a reason for doing it, which is an opponent coming in from this angle, whatever else. Their base, they land lead foot there. I either want to deal with the lead foot here in a sweep or a control, whatever, or I want to switch to the outside as I'm scooping, as I'm binding. So you incorporate the mentality of that, and you can do that with speed. That movement now that I've trained as a functional adaptation in here, this this is the structure that you want to train. See how I'm bracing against you,
Yeah.
but not falling forward? Meaning if you press me one way or the other, I'm fairly stable. I'm not going to be like this, which would be that hopping routine.
Right.
Now you start to press and move me. See, it automatically takes me out. But here is binding. This is the structure for binding. I make an exercise out of this. So I'm like this, right? That, or highlight. I can get to here. Now all of a sudden I'm working that or outside. See? Head is down. This is coming into play. Yeah. Try to mess with that, right? Head comes into play. So all of that is, you got to make it with the intent of why are you training it. You just want to get cardio, work the muscles in a non-functional state. Do that. What I just demonstrated was the functional structure behind developing an exercise that will benefit you in a real fight. That's
So
the
it's just
difference.
visualization.
Yeah, yeah. So if you can imagine that accurately, and you've trained with us enough to know the stresses involved, you can start developing your physical structure that goes along with that fast leg movement.
Okay.
Because
Is
that's
there a way
upper body
any
defense.
person could train that in a at least more functional manner by themselves, other than just
The
squatting?
big thing is walking on the balls of their feet, using the yoga blocks on the balls of their feet for balance, single leg, double leg, having a person press on them, or they can stand near a wall when they're balancing on that, push against the wall and not fall off their block. So they start adjusting. They start incorporating that. So that's something they can do singly by themselves. So you have to bring the world to you because you can't go to the world at that point. And again, part of that is how can I restrict my movement so that the slightest pressure on me challenges my base. Because if it doesn't challenge your base, it's not fight training. I'll tell you that. If it doesn't change your reason for cover, it's not fight training. It's like I said, it's just stuff that looks cool, and you can be really good at that fast switching, but if it's just in air doing nothing and has no functional aspect, meaning if I'm in that clinch range with you, or you're boxing and kicking me and so forth, and I'm just going back and forth like that, then I'm training just that with my hands down, with no sense of anything other than I'm getting a good cardio workout. But when I have a threat like you coming in, I got to watch out for kicks, I got to watch for elbows, headbutts. I've got to have a structural upper body cover in play. I've got to now incorporate that into the training of the movement. And it's not just because I had that pressure against you and then I switched it to outside pressure. The stresses that I felt were here, you immediately butted up against me. As soon as I switched, now the pressure came to my third point. So I had to re-engage to your third point to counter what you were doing on my third point. All of that comes into play in real fighting. And again, if it was just even just striking, if I'm just standing there like that, they're going to time me. And I'm just hopping back and forth really fast and pressing the hell out of them. They're just going to look at that timing. They're going to say, this is when I'm going to strike you, or this is when I'm going to bait you into movement and then take you out, because I know when your base is off. So you can't, have revealed that a lot. And if you do things without proper cover or dynamic state, then you tend to express to your opponent, I train like this.
Right.
Now we train like freaking crazy in all angles, weapons, without weapons, single and multiple opponents, on surface, under. You don't know what I'm going to do next. And I don't know particularly what you're going to do next, or she, or anybody else. And that's the core JPD aspect we have to put into our training for any exercise.
It's difficult to do by yourself.
It is, yeah. But that's, like I said, you have to bring the the world to you in a way that makes sense. And part of that is that visual understanding, the tactile understanding. So get some training under you, which of course you have. So
Right.
you have that physical sense of pressure and so forth. You can swing that bag at you, have it come at you, and as it's coming at you, switch out to the other side as you brace for the impact. Swing it out to this side, have it come from behind. Face it that way, have it come this way, so it's specifically hitting a third point takeover. And you simply have to buffer in, and you change your dynamics to take the bag on without falling into it. So that bag is a really good thing if you know how to use it. But yeah, it's creative, it's coming in. That's why the instructors, that's part of the thing, is looking at it. What are some of these things that look cool as an exercise? Where are they actually applying this? Are they applying it in fighting? No. The majority of the exercises you see out there aren't used for fighting. How can you adapt it to fighting? And some of the stuff you can't because it doesn't make any sense. Because we keep cover. Everything's a head, but everything's a knife. And if we don't have that in play, that understanding of it, you aren't going to develop it. You've seen kickboxing classes and the teachers, and you've been to one where they had no idea or understanding of cover. So when you started putting cover in as you're slamming that, they were like, "Oh no, you need." They're used to this. Your head is exposed. You're just swinging arms, and you're getting a. Granted, there are some that understand, but they're real boxers that will understand it. But the majority of them, they're out there to swing arms and get a good workout and go to sleep, you know.